Welcome back, everyone. This is Blue Dolphin with the Hawkeye Security channel. We're going to be jumping into the Hawkeye Digital Forensics Malware Analysis channel. Let's go. Welcome, everyone. And today we're going to be getting into the Cyber Defenders Blue Team Forensic Challenge. This is 26 questions of PCAP analysis. We're going to be using Wireshark, Brim Security, A-Packets, some awesome tools if you haven't used them before. And the scenario for today, well, funny enough, an accountant at our organization received an email regarding an invoice with a download link. Of course, there was some suspicious network traffic that was observed shortly after opening the email. As a SOC analyst, we must investigate the network trace and analyze exfiltration attempts. So let's just go ahead and get right into things. Starting off with the first challenge question, how many packets does the capture have? Well, I'm going to show everyone over here. This is A-Packets if you have never seen it before. But we're not going to use A-Packets for this one. We're actually going to use Wireshark. And starting off with the first question, how many packets does the capture have? And we can just tell by scrolling all the way to the bottom here that we have a total of, if we just sort by number because they're out of order, scroll all the way to the bottom, we have 4,003 packets. All right, let's look at the second question. At what time was the first packet captured? In UTC time. Simple, we jump up here, have a look. However, there's a bit of a tricky, so if you don't have your Wireshark configured for UTC, you're just gonna have to go view time and set the UTC time here. And you're gonna get your answer of 2019-04-10, 2037. Jumping into the third question. What is the duration of the capture? Well, the easiest way to do that is to actually jump over. I think I used a security for this. And I just looked at, where did I look here? Where am I thinking? No, you know what? I don't think I did. I think I must have used Brim Security. So let's bring Brim Security over. This is Brim Security. And if we click activity overview, yes, we can see at the top here, we have our time there. So if we just work backwards, we can see this ran from 2037 to 2140. And if we work backwards, that's going to be an hour, 3 minutes, and 41 seconds. All right, jumping into the fourth question, which is what is the most active computer at the link level? All right, so there's a couple ways to do this. With a packet, we can just simply browse over to the Ethernet tab. So if we jump over here, we'll see that our most active link is actually this MAC address here. Just because it's talking to these other target addresses, we can safely make that assumption. Alternatively, we can open up Wireshark and we can go statistics, endpoints. Let me drag this screen over, Ethernet, and we can see again that we do in fact have the largest amount of transmitted data on this MAC address. And that'll be our answer for number 4. And jumping into number 5, what is the manufacturer of the NIC of the most active system at the link level? Well, there'd be a few ways to check. One, we could filter this and say apply as filter, selected. And now we could drop into, I believe it's going to show on the physical layer. Yes, so right above the, on the data link layer. And we see that here. We see that it's the Hewlett Packard. And alternatively, we could indeed just look at a packet, and we would also see our answer in there, Hewlett Packard. All right, jumping into question number 6. Where's the headquarters of the company that manufactured the NIC of the most active computer at the link level? So all they're asking us to do is say, hey, like, where's Hewlett Packard? So if we just search up literally Hewlett Packard headquarters, there it is, Palo Alto. All right, so that pretty much answers that one. Jumping on to number 7, the question reads, the organization works with private addressing and net masks, or a 24 net mask. How many computers in the organization are involved in this capture? All right, so the way to look at this is we're going to look in Wireshark. Jumping over here, we'll take a look at that same screen we looked at earlier under statistics endpoints, and we'll actually switch over to IPv4. And looking here, we can tell that we originally have 4, but I was a little slow and it took me a few minutes to realize this is our broadcast address. So we actually only have 3. Therefore, our answer is 3. We could also look, I believe, at a packet. Let me just find it here. Where is a packet? Yo, whoops, there we go. It's there the whole time. And we could actually go, I think it'll be under network, and will this work? We see broadcast address +2. I don't know what's going on, something weird here. I'm not too sure what's going on there, but you know what, that's fine. We won't worry about that too much because we already have the answer. It's 3. So jumping to question number 8. What is the name of the most active computer at the network level? All right, well, we already know what our MAC address is, and we're just going to work backwards from there. So if we jump over into Wireshark, we know that the IP address of our target is going to be the most active, so .32. So we'll simply just look for that IP address in Wireshark here. And the way we'll do that is we want to figure out what service assigned the IP address to said device. Well, it's DHCP, of course, so we look in DHCP, and we take a look down here, and we'll look under, I believe it's going to be under dynamic host, and I think it's one of our options. Nope, that's our name server, not our host. So let's look at this top packet. And here it is. We have our host name, Beijing 5CD1PC. And this is the DNS providing, oh yes, this is the DHCP inform packet. So that's the information of said IP address being assigned. All right, jumping into question number 9. What is the IP of the organization's DNS server? Well, that's a pretty simple one. We can either search by DNS here, by typing DNS. Sorry, my cat's just being silly in the background there. And we'll quickly learn that it's one of 2 options. We can also confirm our findings if we jump over to a packet and we just click DNS. It's so easy. We look down here and we can see our main DNS server for the majority of our lookups was 10.4.10.4. Jumping into question number 10, what domain is the victim asking about in packet 204? Well, we'd be happy to find out as SOC Defenders. Let's go ahead and look at packet number 204 here. Taking a look, we see that we have a domain request and we have proforma-invoices.com. And that is the answer. So jumping into question number 11, what is the IP of the domain in the previous question? Well, the way we're going to do this is by looking over an A packet. And this is going to show us we're going to look under connections, I think. Yes, and here is our pro forma invoices. And you can see we have our external IP address there as the answer. So jumping into question number 12, indicate the country to which the IP in the previous section belongs. Well, you can obviously tell here it belongs from France just from looking at it. So a little easy here, but normally I think we take the IP address and we'd look it up. Okay, but jumping into question 13, what operating system does the victim computer run? So this is a tricky one. How can we find out what operating system they're running if they're not hosting any server-related applications or services? Well, one way is a pretty standard, typical way, and that's just day-to-day how servers identify what operating systems we're using when we're browsing the web. And this is through the user agent. And user agents are always going to be submitted with HTTP requests. So we'll look for some HTTP requests. We'll find our target here, which ends in .150. We'll look for an HTTP protocol, which we have here. And now we'll just look up the user agent, where we can see Windows NT 6.1. That's our answer. Jumping on to question 14, what is the name of the malicious file downloaded by the accountant? So there would be a couple ways to go about this, but we can of course see the file right here in the GET request, performa tkraw protected 99.exe. Another way we could do this is to also go file objects extract or export objects, sorry, HTTP. We see the file right there again. Another way we can do this is by looking in Brim security. and we can look at, because we know it's a GET request, or we assume it is, we can look at, where is it here? I think it would be, it's not a POST request, right here, HTTP GET request. Again, you can see to this URL, proforma-tkraw underscore protected 99.exe. We can also look at a security, which will provide us this under a, I think we just view all identified files. Maybe not. Maybe we can't search it up on a security the way I thought we could. I guess we could go through each one of these packets and look at the host request. I'm not seeing. That's fine though, because you know what? We've already found several other ways to do this. So we're just going to move on and jump into the next question now that we've answered that one. And that's going to be, what is the MD5 hash of the downloaded file? So the way to check this is we'll just jump over to VirusTotal, which I've already uploaded this file. So let me bring this over for everyone to view here. One moment. Here it is. And you can see that under VirusTotal, we can click details, and there is our MD5 hash of the downloaded file. Moving on to the next question, question number 16. What is the name of the malware according to Malwarebytes? Well, we can click back in the detection tab and look around, and we see that we have auto LT packed, a variant of Win32. We got Trojan generic, suspicious, you know, some interesting names for sure. But then we come over to Malwarebytes and we see that spyware HawkEye keylogger is indeed the identified malware. The lesson here is sometimes check a couple antivirus engines. Just because one antivirus engine flags it as something generic doesn't mean every antivirus engine will. All right, jumping into the next question. Question number 17. What software runs the web server that hosts the malware? All right, so this gets a little tricky, but the way we can do this, I believe, is we know that our target is the .150 proforma-invoices.com address from France. So we'll kind of work backwards here. I'm going to pull up Wireshark. And I'm just thinking what we'll do is we'll search for IP address. Actually, I don't even need to. I see our target right here. And we'll just follow the stream. Oh, not sure what happened there. We'll try that again. Oh, here's the TCP stream. It's on my other screen. Let me bring it over. Alright, and looking at this, you can see, of course, there is indeed that GET request for our file, our malicious file. We look through this header. There's nothing new here, but we do see in the response HTTP 200 OK that we have indeed our server Lightspeed, and that's going to be the answer. We also see that our program cannot be run in DOS mode. So if you were thinking of running it in DOS mode, not going to happen. All right, jumping into question number 18. What is the public IP of the victim's computer? All right, so there's a couple ways. There's kind of like the easy way, which I'll show you, which I'm not quite proud of, so I'll show you the harder way. But if you jump over into A packets, you can literally just go HTTP, because we know HTTP requests are being made at this point to the victim's computer, which is the what's my bot's address. And you can literally see this is what the DNS name is supposed to resolve to. But to do this differently, we'll actually jump over to Wireshark, do it properly, and we're going to search by our target IP address, or our DNS server in this case, which is going to be, can't seem to modify. Something's going wrong with Wireshark here. Not sure what's happening. Not sure it's going to crash or what's going on. Oh, there we go. So we'll do IP.addr. Sorry, my mic is actually in the way, making this very difficult. Looks like I can just click because I've previously loaded this command. We'll run this filter. I apologize for the slowness. Not sure what's going on there, but you can see here that we now have all our DNS requests, and we want to look for the DNS request for my what's my bot here. So I think the best way to do that is to Unfortunately, I don't know what's going on here, but it's not... Things aren't going very well. So I guess these aren't the DNS requests, but I'm just going to have to restart. Not sure my computer's slow. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, and I apologize for that. I'm not sure what happened, but I am in much better shape now. So let's go ahead and do this again. So we know that these are the requests to our DNS server, and you know, we can just simply look and say, okay, well, the request to our DNS server, you know, is coming from an internal address of 10, or sorry, it's coming from the 178 address to the domain, or sorry, to the DNS, and the DNS is responding saying, here's the address, and that's because we are simply asking for the bot. Which, let me see if I can find that line right here. So you can see in the HTTP, so this is all happening at the application layer. We're requesting request URI bot.whatsmyipaddress.com, and the response is 173.66.146.112, and that's because the victim's computer is, of course, the bot.whatsmyipaddress.com. So with that being said, we'll jump right into question 19. In which country is the email server to which the stolen information is sent? Well, this is pretty simple. We're just going to do a lookup. And we'll do an IP lookup. Jump over to whatismyip.com, and we'll just put our IP in 1.73.66.146.112. And you can see here that our country is the United States. So that is indeed the answer. That is my cat. And moving on to question number 20. What is the domain's creation date to which the information is exfiltrated? All right. Well, how we'll figure that out is first by opening up Wireshark. And we want to figure out how our information is being exfiltrated. Because we know, or we believe, the internal device, the victim's computer, is the 10.4.10.132. So we need to figure out, hey, how is it sending stolen information, and where would it send it to? Well, we can start with looking at protocols. So HTTP would be one way to do it, but as we look through all our protocols, you can see SMB. This would also be another way to do it. I looked all through this SMB information, didn't find anything overly helpful, but the SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, shows us, as we look through here, that there's actually an authentication with credentials and base 64 being passed and an email being sent. Well, this is going to be where we want to start looking, because obviously, you know, something is being sent here. So we'll just start off with it by following the TCP stream that's responsible for the SMTP information. We'll make this full screen. And this is where we're going to answer our next several questions. But we can see here that, sorry, my mic is in the way, but as we look through here, you can see that the domain is from the macwinlogistics.in. And if we cross-reference this with a packet, we can also see that macwinlogistics is also here, and that's confirmed. So we'll jump back over to, I mean, I guess we don't have to jump anywhere. All we have to do is look up macwinlogistics, and that's going to tell us our answer. So we'll go domain lookup, do the old who is, and we'll come over here and we will enter. Can we just enter the IP address? Or do we have to do the forward name? Yep, this works. So we can see that it was registered on 2014. Oh, wait, no, that wasn't when it was registered. Wait a sec, something doesn't look right. Hang on, no, this isn't what we want. Because this, no, you can't do it by IP address, because obviously the IP address has changed. Silly me. All right, let's try that again. Let's do macwinlogistics. macwinlogistics.in. Here we go. Registered on 2014, February 8th. And you can see it's got a couple names, servers. It belongs to Beavers Technology. It's in Delhi, India. That's pretty cool. All right, let's jump into the next one. That is going to be, actually, that's going to be question number 21 here. And question number 21 reads, oh, and sorry, the way we know information is being exfiltrated, let me just clarify. Because if you're thinking, how do we know information is being exfiltrated here? Well, at this point, you know, we can take this because the content, sorry, let me back up. When you send an email, the header has very specific information, including content transfer encoding and the content types. You can see here that in this email, we have plain text that is encoded with base 64. So this is going to be the body of our email. So if we actually take this, copy this information, and then what we'll do is we'll actually go and decode this. If you don't know, we can use CyberChef. And we'll do from base 64. And you can see that we have credentials, and including someone's banking information. So this is definitely the exfiltrated information. And that is Macwin Logistics is indeed our domain. All right, jumping into question number 21. Analyzing the first extraction of information, what software runs the email server to which the stolen data is sent? Well, that's a very good question. So the way we're going to do this is just by looking at those SMTP headers and seeing if we can figure it out here, which I think, yep, I can see it right here at the top. We have XSIM 4.91. What is XSIM? Well, let's go ahead and take a look. Let's search up XSIM mail server. We can see it is an internal mailer transfer agent developed at the University of Cambridge for use on Linux systems connected to the internet. Interesting. So it's a very lightweight Unix-based mail server. That's pretty cool. Looks like people compare it against Postfix, or it's commonly known to be compared against Postfix. Well, that's super interesting. Looks like there's a list of useful commands, so there's some documentation around this. Cool. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into question 22 then. To which email account is the stolen information sent? We can see from the packet capture that the information is from the sales address. sales.del@macwinlogistics.in. So jumping into question number 23, what is the password used by the malware to send the email? Well, we can see that right after the authentication header, which is here. This would be the username. You can only assume, so we'll just copy all this. Jump back over to CyberChef. Parse out the non-base 64 data. So you can see the first line. The first line is the sales.inPassword, and then that's of course our password. Okay, sales. So I guess this would be maybe one line. Anyways, the password is sales20 or sales@23. Awesome. So let's jump into our what do we have? Three questions left. So jumping into question 24, which malware variant exfiltrated the malware? All right, so the way we can figure this out is by just taking the subject line here. If I can copy it. No, I'm just going to copy this whole line. Jump back over to CyberChef. And you can see the data is not a valid byte array. Okay, well, we need to clean this up a little. First, we need to get rid of this subject header at the top. And you can see we still have this issue. Well, there shouldn't be a question mark in base 64, so we're going to delete the data. And there you go. We have our answer. This is the HawkEye keylogger, reborn, version 9, passwords, logs, Roman.McGuire. All right, so let's look up reborn version 9. Just take a quick peek here at You know what that is. Reborn v9. And we get, here we go. So it looks like there's an article in 2019. So it's not the oldest. And in this article, we learned that it's considered a monitoring solution. Okay, it's sold with a licensing model. That's crazy. There's even a terms of service agreement that forbids buyers from using the software on systems without permission and from scanning its executables using antivirus. How do you enforce that? Interesting. Anyways, a couple things worth noting about it is, let's see, researchers from Cisco Talos have observed ongoing mail spam phishing campaigns that distribute the HawkEye Reborn keylogger. It's been modified and heavily obfuscated to make analysis complex and difficult. Emails include MS Excel documents disguised as invoices, bills of materials, order confirmations, and other corporate functions. So we kind of saw that in our scenario here. The Excel doc exploits a vulnerability bug in Microsoft Office. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it steals credentials from browsers, which we kind of saw when we decoded the payload there. We saw like credentials from Bank of America that were listed. I don't remember the other ones. It can steal clipboard content and take screenshots. Looks like it's still using a well-known mail pass view and web browser pass view freeware tools from Nersoft, of course, which if you don't know are tools to use to just pull your passwords, because passwords aren't heavily stored or encrypted in your browser or on your computer, you know, when they're being stored for mail purposes. So just be mindful of that. If somebody gets access to your computer, they can actually pull your passwords off fairly easily. That's where multi-factor authentication comes in. But anyways, enough of that. Let's get back to our target here. And we know which malware variant exfiltrated the data. It is the Reborn version 9. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our second last question. Question number 25. What are the Bank of America access credentials? And the way we're going to grab this is by jumping back over to Wireshark, taking this information. This is our payload, so to call it, that was being transferred or exfiltrated. And we'll jump back into CyberChef, paste this information, and you can see our first set of credentials is from login.aol. The second one is from Bank of America, which is our target. And the third one is Microsoft Outlook. Interesting, but you can see here for Bank of America, our credentials, our username is roman.mcguire, password is password with leet characters, and it's a very strong password. But it looks like this was being stored in Google Chrome, and yeah, the location for the file name was cusers roman.mcguire/appdata/local/Google Chrome user data, more importantly, default login data. So that's where Nersoft is checking. It's going to be, you know, for Google Chrome, it's going to be under user data default login data. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our last and final question, which is number 26. Every how many minutes does the collected data get exfiltrated? Well, this is an interesting question. So what we'll do is we want to look at just our mail protocol related packets. Because this is, we just know this is how information was getting exfiltrated. And the first thing we notice is if we scroll to the top here, we start to scroll down, you can see a pattern. 38, 48, 58, 08, 18, 28, so on and so forth. So that's every 10 minutes, which is our answer. And with that, you have all 26 answers for the Cyber Defender HawkEye Blue Team Challenge. Thank you everyone who participated in this. Thanks for watching the video. This was an awesome challenge. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing more. It was an absolute blast, and I'll see everyone in the next video.